stuff like that. So the plan for today is we're going to look at some aspects of how you're controlled by teacher, by parent, by friends, by authority figures, by the popo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we're going to look at other things that have to do with family or education. Then we're going to write a paragraph. We're going to write one of your paragraphs for your paper and call it a day, I'd say. So for this little exercise, this is called the social control window. You got to start right in the middle. Start right there. Okay. Now I want you to all mentally choose someone who has authority over you. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's another teacher here. Maybe it's a mom or a dad or the principal or some. Just pick someone. Okay. Everyone have someone in mind? Okay. So the first thing you do is you answer the question, is this person fair? Is this person fair? If the answer is yes, go right. If the answer is no, go left. Okay? So wherever you are, where'd you go? Did you go right or left? You don't have to answer that. Okay? Wherever you are then, the second question you ask is, how strict is this person? Is this person pretty strict, pretty firm? Go up. Is this person fairly loosey-goosey? Go down. Okay? Which takes you to a colorful square. And that square is sort of a label for that authority figure in your life. A fair but strict person is an authoritative figure. Who's an authoritative figure in this school? Very fair, but pretty strict. Let's see. Larson? Is he that way?
Yeah.
Would Mr. Larson be that way? Maybe. It's kind of the way I see him, I guess. Maybe some of you don't see that. Okay. Who else is that way? Well, Mr. Thompson used to be, but he's not here anymore. Although, did any St. Anne's kids in here? Did you have him? Did you have Mr. Thompson? He wasn't there. Yeah, I think you guys missed each other. Two boats passing each other in the night. All right. I can't really think of anybody else who's sort of like that. You believe Miss Donnelly to be fair and pretty strict. That's fine. There's no right or wrong. I'm not going to test you with 4 teachers. No, she's not. If you see her that way, she's that way. So for you, it's down. Okay. I really don't think I'm that way because I'm not fair. Okay. Let's see. Very fair, but kind of loosey-goosey. Permissive, indulgent, lenient, rescues kids all the time. Our old French teacher, Madame. Oh my God. Might as well have her picture right here. And I mean that in a good way for any of you who had Madame. Just pure love, right? Evenson. I would throw her here for those of you who have her as a counselor. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think so. Okay. Not fair and pretty strict. Punitive, right? Controlling, bossy. Do it because I said you should do it. Authoritarian, autocratic. Let's not even pretend to name names here. Or not fair and pretty loosey-goosey, neglectful. Doesn't show the slightest interest in what you're doing. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, great. Go. Just go ahead. Do it. I don't care. I don't really care about you. Right? So the neglectful parent or teacher or whatever. Anyway, it's kind of fun to see the different types of people. What are you going to be someday? I mean, you're all going to be moms and dads. What are you going to be? Are you going to say, son, time to mow the grass? Straight line, son, up and down. Okay. Anyway. Our next slide has very much to do with education in America. America, yeah. And if you're like me, you always pick your home state. So here we are. And let's see, what does blue mean? Wisconsin's blue. It's Minnesota and Iowa. What does it mean? Prohibited by law. Something is prohibited. Wisconsin is prohibited by law. Wisconsin is illegal. Not quite. By the way, that lunch smells delish. What was illegal? What was prohibited by law?
Public school
Segregation. That's right. Separating people based on race was illegal in 1954 when some states tried to do so. All right. So we know that mainly northern states barred segregation. It was illegal to separate, say, no, black kids go here and white kids go here. Couldn't do it in Wisconsin or Minnesota. Let's see. What does green mean? Yeah, you had to. You had to segregate based on race. And I think shocking to no one is it was in the South. I don't mean to judge it at all. Just saying it really shouldn't surprise you that in 1954, up to 1954, you had to segregate in the South. Well, what else is there? It was either required to not or required to do so. What could those other colors possibly mean? What's yellow mean? Can you read it?
Determined by local.
Local. It's up to the local school district. Okay, so in those states that are yellow, it was up to the local school district, which is especially interesting in the state of Kansas. Why did I pick Kansas?
There's the border
What?
between the north and south. That's like where the line is.
That's true. It's sort of right on that border, isn't it? So there certainly would seem to be elements supporting segregation and opposing segregation. Anyone else know the history of segregation and the special place Kansas has in that little story?
Had some bad time. They were.
What happened in Kansas? Oh, you're talking about John Brown. That's true. That is true. Kansas does have some historical. What? That's true. Yes. Right. If you click 3 times, you'll go home. And there's no place like home. Apparently, we are not aware that that is where the Browns lived.
Oh.
Does this mean anything to anybody?
Yeah. Board versus Brown versus the Board of
Brown
Education.
versus Board of Education. That's exactly right. The Browns were black. What an awesome sentence. The Browns were black, and their kid went to the white school. That's one sentence. The black Brown family went to the white school. Now, to a first grader, it'd be like, crayons. But for you, it means something, right? The African-American family, known as the Browns, tried to send their kid to the all-white school in a state which allowed local school districts to make that decision. The school district in question was Topeka, Kansas, that said, no, we are going to segregate based on race. The family sued them, and it made it all the way to Supreme Court, where in 1954, what? What happened in 1954? All segregation was ended based on race. Okay, so in other words, this entire map became blue. Okay, now in this school, is segregation allowed? Sure, it is. Absolutely, it absolutely is. I mean, there are some rooms in this building I'm not even allowed in, and it's a good thing. True story, 2 years ago, I really had to go to the bathroom. So I walk over there and I open the door and I walk in and I'm standing there like, what'd they do with all the stalls? Did they have them removed? That's weird. And then I realized where I was and I carefully backed out. I was in the girls' room. But it took me a good 10 seconds. Like, where are the stalls? Girls, we guys are equipped with equipment that allows us to stand and handle business. And the girls' bathroom, now I know, doesn't have those things. Anyway, that's segregation. Segregation simply means separating people into who is and isn't allowed. In this building, we have legal segregation based on gender. Gender segregation. And I think we're all okay with that. Yes, okay. Is there any other type of segregation? Any other type of segregation? Just think about this. Where are some people not allowed to go? And if that exists, then it is legal segregation. Okay? Yeah, okay. Informally, you're really not supposed to be. Okay, very good. Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, right. Okay, good. Anything else? I think the bathrooms are the best example of legal segregation, and you'll note, by the way, that both bathrooms are equipped to handle the needs of the people that are serviced. And no one says, "Hey, it's not fair. I should be able to go into that bathroom." Although that is an issue in some other parts of the country where gender identity is a little bit mixed. 100 years ago, you were a man or you were a woman. That's it. Today, those lines are being blended. So biologically, you were either a male or a female, but there are other aspects, the LGBTQ, all those letters. So there's a difference between your biology and your identity. And we will get into this topic later on in this class later on. So that's sort of exciting. Okay, again, any questions here? I just have one more little thing here, and then we're going to sort of move on. And of course, this is one of the questions that many of you are dealing with. Okay, so I have this little chart here. It's called a cost-benefit analysis. Does anyone know what that is? A cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis is where you ask a question and look at the benefits, what do you get out of it, and the negatives. How does it cost you, right? So I just want us to all think about this question just for a second here. Why would one go to college? What are the benefits of going to college? Any thoughts here? Yes?
Education.
Right, you'll learn more, right? Very good. Go ahead.
Teach you to get into a higher paying job.
Better paying job. Okay. We're gonna revisit that idea. Is that true? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. You know who makes a lot is Justin Bieber. I don't think he went to college. I don't think so. So Thomas Edison, 8th grade. So maybe we'll revisit that. Anything else? You learn more and maybe you make more money. Maybe. Anything else? Anything else? Any other reason to go to college? It's kind of fun. It's fun. Well, I didn't say party, although that's definitely the. But you meet new people, right? Here you are in dinky little Somerset, and it's like the whitest city on earth, right? And what I say? We're a town or a village or something. We're a village. We're a village. Okay, even whiter. And maybe it's a chance to go meet people that think differently than you and lived in a different type of setting than you, like a big city, and like to confront these people and think, oh, they're not so scary, and to learn that they have the same hopes and dreams and fears and stuff as you. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we sort of made a kind of a quick little list here. You learn more, you're paid more, maybe. It's fun, and you're exposed to different points of view and different lifestyles and all that stuff. Okay. Marginal costs. What is taken away from you because you're going to college?
Time. A lot of time.
Yeah. Has anyone ever heard of this idea called delayed gratification? Delayed gratification. It's actually a skill. When you sit at dinner tonight, do you have dessert first? Oh, actually, we do that sometimes in our house, like dessert first, and then we eat the broccoli. But the idea of delayed gratification is you get your reward later. First, you eat your broccoli. In fact, when you were young, that's how your parents got you to eat your broccoli. No ice cream until you eat your broccoli, right? It's a reward, and that takes time, right? I mean, you're talking about 4 more years before you start collecting the dough. Okay? Any other cost? Yeah, a lot of debt. I mean, those of you who plan on going to college someday, you're going to be in some serious debt. Unless you got that mason jar out back, unless you can hike the football to the punter, you're going to be in debt, probably. The question, of course, is, will the debt you accrue be offset by the massive amounts of money you will collect or not gone to college? And you'll definitely make money, but will you in the long run make more money by going to college, accruing a little bit of debt, and then paying off that debt, and then making way more money, right? Anything else? What you just did there was a quick cost-benefit analysis. Hey, should I buy this candy bar? Well, let's look at the benefits. Yum, delish, I'm hungry. Let's look at the negatives. Cost $2, not really very good for you, and then you decide apple. Okay. That's a cost-benefit analysis. It's a rational way of looking at any situation. Any question? That's enough of that. You need your putas out. Putas? You need your putas out. And you also need out any material that pertains to the under God paper that that we are writing. So the documents that we went over, you need that. I think I had you make a spreadsheet. You need that. That's the one right there. Will you show everyone that bad boy right there? Right. You need that, and you need the documents that contain the quotes. Right. On your putas, I need you to find where you've written the first paragraph of this paper. Let's keep going. My goal is for you to write another paragraph. Then, with any time remaining, I'm going to actually let you work on various things. Maybe your summative that's due the 20th, that's next week. Maybe you want to think about a date that's due in a couple weeks. Great. That was about it, right? Okay. Give you a minute here. Finding your first paragraph that all of you should have written by now. Type it. Is anyone not there yet? I realize it. Okay, we'll wait. Am I waiting for you to retrieve it?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing since I was gone for like a few days.
We'll fix it. It's quite all right. You should always be watching the videos that are posted online. This is true for everybody, by the way. If you miss class, watch the videos. They're very entertaining. Okay, we are going to write a paragraph and take special note of how we're writing this, because if you're writing a paper for this is what I want you to do. What we are learning today is how I want you to write paragraphs 2, 3, 4, and 5 of a 6 paragraph. 2, 3, 4, and 5 of a 6 paragraph paper. So the middle 4 paragraphs will be all written the same way. And I think this should look familiar to almost all of you. And that is, you're going to write it this way. You make a topic sentence that makes a claim. You provide context. You provide evidence. And then you provide analysis. Does that look familiar? It sure better. You should have been exposed to this in your English classes. You should have been exposed to this in previous social studies classes. This is how we want you to write. Okay? What complicates this just a bit is that I've got 2 different sets of people here. I've got those of you who believe the word should be removed and those of you who believe the words should not be removed. And I'm going to try and talk to you at the same time. Okay? So, do you think the words should be removed? Do you agree with that statement? The words under God should be removed. If you agree, then I want you to pay attention to this column. This one. Not that one. That's for other people. This one, if you agree with this statement, the word should be removed. Okay? You know who you are? If you disagree, if you think, nah, leave the words alone, then this is your column. What's up, Jack?
You're debating for that side.
That is correct. Yeah. The side you're debating doesn't necessarily reflect what you actually think, right? Some of you were put on a team you didn't agree with. Sorry, Jack. Okay, this is what you actually believe at this time. Okay? Does everyone know which column you're paying attention to? All right. The reason I'm pointing this out is because for some of you, this is going to be your second paragraph, maybe your third paragraph, but for others in here, it's actually going to be your fourth paragraph, maybe your fifth paragraph. Because the way I want you to write these papers is to present the arguments you disagree with first, and then present the arguments you agree with. Well, some of you agree with this and some of you disagree with it. So that means for some of you, it's your second or third paragraph. For others, it's your fourth or fifth paragraph. Anyway, if what I just said makes any sense to you, who cares? Just know which column you pay attention to. Okay? Thumbs up if you're so far so good. I'm waiting for a thumb. Yes. Yep. Where's your thumb? That's better. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is write the topic sentence. So some of you are going to write the first reason, ... And then some of you are going to write the first reason some people claim. Now, if you know how to finish the sentence, do it. If you know how to finish that sentence, finish it. If you don't, wait about 10 seconds and I'll tell you. I hear almost no typing, which means most of you believe you don't know how to finish the sentence. I think you do. I think you do. Maybe you're just lacking a little confidence right now. Give it a shot. The worst possible outcome is that you're going to hit the delete button a bunch in about a minute. Who cares? Give it a shot. I'm going to give you the answer in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. This sentence, for those of you who agree that the word should be removed, your first sentence should be something like this. The first reason the word should be removed is that the words are unconstitutional. Right there. The first reason the words should be removed is that the words are unconstitutional. Period. For those of you who disagree that you believe the word should be left alone, yours is slightly different. Your first sentence is going to go something like this. The first reason some people claim the word should be removed is their belief that the words are unconstitutional. Period. See the difference? If you agree this is so. If you disagree, it's, well, that's what they think. I don't agree. Okay? Which one? Right? The first reason some people claim the word should be removed is their belief that the words are unconstitutional. Period. See? And as we're pausing and you're sitting here and you're typing, I'm going to acknowledge that today's class isn't the most fun ever. I agree. It's necessary, and don't worry, we'll talk about abortion later. Or whatever, capital punishment, or Should we be allowing gays to adopt? That's an interesting one, right? If you're gay, do you teach your children gay? Of course, that would be. We'll save it for later. All right. I mean, if that's true, then how did the heterosexual couple have a gay child? Anyway, all right. The next step is something called context. Context answers these possible questions. Why does this matter? Why is it important? Maybe a brief little history lesson. This has been an issue for decades. Okay? Or, are there any necessary definitions? In the first sentence, is there any big word that needs clarification? Maybe the word unconstitutional, right? So spend a sentence saying the idea that the words are unconstitutional means it violates First Amendment freedom of speech or something like that. Okay? A good way to start context is to say something like this. At this time what? At this time throughout the country, students in public schools everywhere stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. But should they be forced to do so? Question mark. At this time throughout the country, athletes are kneeling during the national anthem because in a sign of protest. Should they be allowed to do so? Question mark. Right? Context provides the answer to the question, who cares? I mean, what if I wrote a paper, should I have soup tonight? It would be sort of hard for me to answer the question, who cares? It, frankly, doesn't matter whether I have soup or not. Who cares? This is answering the question, who cares? Why does it matter? Why does it matter if the words are removed or not? Can you answer that question? And I hesitate to tell you word for word what you should put because there are 30 of you. I should be seeing 30 different ideas. Why does it matter? Why does this matter? Can you answer that question? As you're typing, and I will stop talking in about 10 seconds here. As you're typing, give yourself permission to not write the best sentence ever here. I do not need you to write a sentence that Shakespeare himself would be weeping with joy after reading. It's so beautiful. If you end up writing a pretty basic sentence right now or two, okay. It's okay. But also don't do this. This matters because sandwich. See, that doesn't make any sense. Can you give me like a valid reason why this matters? I'll throw out this freebie. You want to use this? Great. This matters because it's an issue regarding freedom of speech. Yes, you're right. How are we doing? Are you waiting to take the next step, or are you still going? Anyone not quite ready? Okay. I'll just keep going, and then you'll catch up easily because the next step's really easy. The next step in this little process is the red part. It's something called evidence. This is where you need to refer to your documents, and you need to find the correct document. Which document is the one that is making the argument that the words are unconstitutional? Which one is it? Frankly, I don't remember. Is it 2? No, it's not 2. Is it 8? Which one? Both?
Or no.
5 and 8? Aren't they making different arguments? Okay, which one is the one that makes the argument that is unconstitutional? Look at your spreadsheet. Which one it says? 8. Okay, it's 8, right? It's 8. Okay. 8, you're right. For both of you, it's 8. For both groups, this part is going to be the same. Okay? Here it is. Here's what I want you to do. If you just type the number 8, why? This is what you're doing. This little checklist right here. I need you to start typing sentences, plural, which include the speaker, the speaker's credibility, what that speaker said, word for word, directly quote, and then a footnote. The footnote is the number 8. Now, if you think you know what you're doing, go. If you do not, will you just wait about 10 seconds, and then I will tell you what to write. But I want you to give it a shot. Try. Again, the worst that could happen is you hit the delete button. Who cares?
Colossal waste of time.
Colossal waste of time when you're writing a blue book essay.
Why is it?
You are, ignore me, most of you. You are given a finite amount of time during class to write a blue book essay. Writing quotes takes time. For this, there's no time limit. So, put the quote. Right. It should read something like this. It's document 8. Now remember, now start this sentence right where the previous sentence ended, right? This is a paragraph. Michael Newdow, comma, founder of the first Adventist Church of True Science.
That's Scientology.
It is not. Comma, said, comma, and then I think it's that last sentence. Thus, when I see our Pledge of Allegiance containing the words under God, I see a gross violation of one of our foremost constitutional mandates, comma, quote, space, parentheses, 8, parentheses, dot. The last word is mandates. Blah, 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 mandates. Comma, quote, space, parentheses, 8, parentheses, period. Period goes after the footnote. After the footnote. If you type this sentence correctly, you will have at least 4 commas. Speaker, comma. Credibility, comma. Said, comma. Quote, comma. 4 commas. Yeah. What I do? Here.
I also need one.
Here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got one. Go ahead. Is it on the website? Is the document sheet on the website? It isn't? Do you have a neighbor that you can borrow it from? It's like that was my last copy. I'll print more, but I don't have more right now. Unless I have it over here. I will print more and introduce it to you. I can't remember if I put it on the website or not. Was that it? Quarter 1 paper right now. Is that it? Quarter 1 paper stuff. Okay, that's the video from yesterday. There it is. It is on the website. So it's under quarter 1 paper stuff. It's right there. pretty loud, they're so loud that I can hear them. It's pretty rude. Elk Grove. You know, I'm not sure if it was a high school, but it was a school in Elk Grove, California. When next I speak, we're going to start tackling the blue part. Okay? So if we think this through, all you've accomplished so far is you've told the reader that there is this reason that exists for why people, which might include you and might not, believe the words should be removed. And this argument is that the words are unconstitutional. And then you said why this matters. And then you quote from some guy named Michael Newdow, who basically says it's unconstitutional. And now what you need to do is prove it. Or prove that it's a bunch of hooey. Okay? So I want you to start the next sentence. You just typed the footnote. You're ready to explain what Newdow means. Newdow believes that. What? What does he believe? What is he saying? Little Cindy Lou has just walked in the door and she says, hey, should the words under God be removed? And you say, why, yes, Cindy, because thus when I see the Pledge of Allegiance containing the words under God, I see a gross violation of one of our foremost constitutional mandates. What do you think about that, Cindy? And Cindy, who's 2, says, and she stabs you. Now, to calm her down, say, Cindy, relax. This is what Michael Newdow means. Okay, now start typing what you just said to Cindy Lou Who. Explain what Michael means. Say the same thing without saying the same thing. Get Michael's message across using different words. I mean, it's a gross violation of one of our foremost constitutional mandates. Who talks like that? Besides Michael. Answer, no one. Speaking normal. Dumb it down. Make it so a 5th grader would understand. Or I would understand. Who's smarter than a 5th grader? So Newdow believes that. Here's just a dumb, right? Here's an example. Newdow believes that saying religiously based words violates the First Amendment. There. I just said the same thing without saying the same thing. Can you do it? It might take you more than one sentence, by the way, and that's perfectly okay. For those of you who are paying attention to this column over here, you have to add this magical sentence. He's wrong. Newdow's wrong. If you're over here, you don't think he's wrong. You think he's right. But I don't need you to type a sentence. And he's right. Not necessary. You know what's not necessary? If I ask, hey, do any of you go to the bathroom? And you raise your hand, I don't. Yeah, you didn't need to do that. That was an unnecessary action. Oh, okay. You want me to walk over there? The number 8. It tells me that that's that. Right, so I realize some of you are in English classes where they require MLA, footnoting, and all that stuff. Not yet, not here. Just put the number 8. The next step, after you've explained what Newdow believes in your own words, is you either have to prove that he's right with some piece of evidence or prove he's wrong with some piece of evidence. There's got to be some actual evidence out there that displays that this argument has validity or that does not have validity. And I am going to give you a piece of evidence for both groups. You're free to use it if you want. You're free to not use it if you don't want. Man, go buck the system and find your own example. Awesome. All I've done here is I've provided another example that's similar in situation to the words under God. If we can go out into the world and find another example where a religious-based set of words was banned, then we've just found evidence that you can't do that. You can't have the words under God. If we can find an example that exists out there where there are religious-based words, but they're just fine, then we've just said, well, if it's okay in this situation, why can't it be okay in the flag situation? And we have both. You're only going to use one or the other. So again, for those of you who agree that the word should be removed, I give you what happened in Georgia. In Georgia, there was this one judge, and he had in his courtroom the 10 Commandments in a courtroom, right? Well, he was ordered to remove that obviously religious symbol based on you can't have religious symbols in a courtroom. That's a religious symbol of a specific religion, right? It's either Christian or Jewish, okay? And he was ordered to remove them. Well, if you can't have the 10 Commandments in a courtroom, this is what you're going to say. If you can't have 10 Commandments in a courtroom, then you cannot have the words under God in the pledge. It's the same logic. Or you could go with an example that proves that it should be allowed. Anyone have a quarter on you? I think I have a quarter over here. I believe I have a quarter. No, I don't. It doesn't matter, right? Can you picture a quarter? And if you flip it up, will you flip it on the back and read what the words that go across the top? That's not what that'll work.
In God we trust.
In God we trust. Okay, and somewhere out here it says in God we trust. Unless you have a Minnesota quarter here. So. Okay, bottom. It says in God we trust. If you look at any paper currency, it says in God we trust. In God we trust. Hey, it has the word God in it. Now, did you non-believers, when you grabbed did it burn your hand? Did you get struck by lightning? Did the ground open up? Thou shalt not use my money. No, nothing happened to you. You bought your burger, right? It worked just fine. And the conclusion you're going to reach is, well, if it's okay for the word God to be on currency, then it should be okay for the words God to be in the pledge. Right? If it's okay here, it's okay here. Or in this one, since it's not okay here, it shouldn't be okay here. This is a piece of historical evidence that supports the argument that you believe in, right? You don't think this is valid, so you found an example where it's not valid. You think it's valid, so you found an example where it's valid. This might take you a few sentences, right? This is where you're telling a story. You okay? You may have noticed up here, if you're in this column, that I have this sentence here. It's a freebie if you want to use it. It's just sort of kind of a conclusion since it's not an endorsement of any religion, it's not unconstitutional. You can use it. No. I really have only one thing left to say, and we still have about 7 minutes, so I'm just gonna say it now, and then off you go to just finish this up. And that is, we gotta wrap this up. And the basic format is because A is true, B is true, or because some people mistakenly believe A is true, they argue that B is true. Now, do you know what to do here? Don't type that actual sentence. It's a formula. You plug in the right words for A and B. If you know what to do, do it. If you don't, I will tell you what to do in about 10 seconds. If you agree with this, then your transition sentence, end of paragraph sentence goes something like this. Because the words violate the Constitution, they should be removed. If you disagree, then your last sentence is going to go something like this. Because some people mistakenly believe the words violate the Constitution, comma, they argue that the words should be removed. End of paragraph.